Hey guys, Gerbera97 again. This time with the first work in progress video on the Nero trainer type provided by E2046. Links in the description down below. So, come to think of it, this is probably the first work in progress video I've done on this channel. So the progress so far is that I've gotten rid of all of the excess on the parts, and overall it was a very easy process. Very fun to work in this kit. And now, the thing about this Nero trainer type is that it is supposed to be a fixed post model. You simply put it together and it's not going to move. But I'm pretty sure I said in the original video I was thinking about making it articulated as a high grade, and I have decided that I'm going to effectively turn it into a high grade. I've scavenged around and found the parts that I will need to turn this thing into a high grade. First major change is that I've taken some of the joints of the Hazel, the poor guy who donated his joints, the Hazel 2, doesn't want to fit in frame, there we go. And what I've taken from him, the elbow joint and the shoulder joint, and I'm also going to take the waist joint of him. And the main reason I went with the Hazel, with that specific Hazel, is because it comes with a spare shield booster, which always comes in handy. Then I was fortunate enough to have these hanging around, spare leftover parts from a ground Gundam type. Well, these were from one of the P Bandai ones, and they are going to work absolutely perfect. You can simply cut these things off and glue them onto the legs, and they will be articulated absolutely perfectly. The one thing I was worried about the most were these boosters on top, because at first I wasn't really sure how to make them articulated, but then I found these from the skull booster, and essentially what this is going to allow the thing to do is it will still be able to rotate with this polycap on top, and it will be able to be in its normal mode, and will still be able to revert back to the stored mode. The two joints I'm still kind of looking for are one, the feet, because, well, I have a plan B, which is simply to put a ball joint on there and then put something to put the ball joint in here. So that will work out. That's going to work, but it's still going to be a bit limited. So I'm trying to look for something that will give a bit more motion. Also, I really love the angular shape of these feet. And the second joint I'm still looking for is here in the shoulder, because, you know, this looks kind of plain, so I'm thinking that maybe I could use this interesting joint right up here on the booster. You know, that might look pretty good as the shoulder joint, but once again, plan B is simply leave this here, glue on a tube so that this will go on there. And that will be that. So essentially, most of the things are planned out. I have a few plan Bs which I might have to use if I can't find anything else. So really, the next step in the progress now is going to be to get the joints to fit, like drilling holes all over the place in order to get some new hands, which I'm going to use the MS hand number 1. Very, very nicely detailed hands, like wow. Also have the bigger version, depending on how they're going to look once the model's finished. So maybe I'll use these, maybe I'll use the bigger ones, depending on how things will look. And for some extra flair to the machine, I decided to buy MS Verniers 01. The verniers that are supplied with this machine, they're not bad, but they're just normal boosters. They're just normal verniers you get with every Gundam kit. So I decided, you know what? I'm already going pretty crazy with this machine. I might as well add some of these verniers, and man, they sure look awesome. Another thing I was planning on was the MS Vernier number 2 to add to the back of the legs, because, well, it looked like there was some room here. You know, maybe sand this away and replace that with one of the verniers you get with MS Vernier number 2, but they've been on back order from HLJ since February, and I still haven't gotten them, so I'm not expecting them in the near future anymore. I probably think I'll get them once this thing is finished, because that's usually the way these kinds of things goes. The final thing that I'm thinking about is the weapon I'm going to give this guy. I'm not a huge fan of the weapon it comes with. It just looks a bit, I don't know, a bit chunky, bulky. I'm not really a big fan of these guns that look too... Yeah, I'm not really sure how to put it. It just looks like the gun is too high in a way. Because, for example, the thing with a gun like the Buster is using, that's nice and long, but this just feels a bit off in proportions. Not because of the molding, but simply because of the way the gun itself is designed. So I'm thinking about using the beam rifle that is provided with, once again, the Hazel. And it doesn't seem to show on... Oh, there it is. This one, that's from the Hazel. And then I'm also thinking about replacing these side skirts with the side skirts of the Hazel because they can hold extra ammo clips. So that's pretty much the rundown of how far I am now, what I'm planning to do with this thing. And if you'll excuse me, I've got a lot of joints to get rid of. Well, that's all for this work in progress video, and see you guys next time.